Okay, so I'm going to answer some questions today. I just pulled a few. There are about 10 questions, and I'm also going to do a little facts kind of video, just so, because I realized there's like no introduction video on my channel, but I don't really believe in introductions, so this is just, you know, just for people who are curious. So my name is Sush. I am an artist and I go by trickywagon usually around the internet. People ask about my handle, so trickywagon is actually I kind of stole it. Yeah, I'll show you because I have the DVD. Yeah, so trickywagon is from this DVD, which is like a tour DVD, a music one, by the J-rock band Bis. They disbanded in 2008, I think, which is a long time ago. I used to be really into J-rock when I was younger, and Bis were my favorite band, and I really just liked this name, so I used it as like my username on Last.fm. And then it kind of grew from there, and I started using it everywhere because it just wasn't taken. And I still like the sound of it. I have tried to change my handle over the years, but this one just stuck, so yeah, I'm keeping it now. Yeah, this is still shrink wrapped, by the way. I have watched it, but I only bought it like recently. But yeah, I'm carrying the Bis legacy, guys, for all you J-rock fans out there. So I thought it'd be cool if I could try and draw and answer questions at the same time, but this could be kind of difficult. It could be difficult, but I want to get better at it, so let's have a go, shall we? And I don't really have anything in mind that I'm going to draw. It's just going to be random crap. So I hope you don't mind. Let's use color erase today. I recently moved all my pencils to this tiny pencil case and then put this in here because I'm really, because I noticed that if I keep pencils in a pencil case and like rubbers and erasers, then it ends up making the pencil case super dirty, and yeah, I want to avoid that, so I think this will help. Alright, let me try and get into the drawing first, but I don't know how people draw and talk at the same time. It's just, it's a big skill. Can you see that okay? Oh, it's tiny. Sorry if this is tiny. I draw really small. I'll try and zoom in. Is it worth zooming in? Is that better? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So I haven't drawn a lot lately. I've just been painting my zine, so that's taking up most of my time. And last week I've been having a little bit of an art rut. So that's when, I mean, I don't call it a block really. It's more of a mindset thing where I just feel like I can't draw anything right. And I always know it passes because it's part of being a creative. It's just how you feel, because you can't expect to feel great 100% of the time, and it's like that with anything. So you just gotta kind of be productive in other ways. So for example, I will just do more admin things or plan stuff instead of trying to draw, or just do random like mindless painting, because drawing and painting are two different things. Ah, this is gonna be hard, guys. I may have to cut the audio into some weird kind of, I don't know, edit. What am I drawing? What am I drawing? I don't know. Okay, let's answer some questions because I'm just rambling now. Right, question. So I'm curious to know when you decided to design and sell. Oh, this is a really good question that I got. I've already answered it, but I'm going to just answer it on video too, because it'd be good to share with more of you. So here we go. So the question is, I'm curious to know when you decided to design and sell merch. Did you already have a good following, or did you just take the plunge? Enjoying every video. So thank you very much. So when I first designed merchandise, it was for convention actually. I did my first convention in 2013. I think it was November time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my first convention, and that's when I first started to make merchandise, but I mostly stuck to prints. and so I kind of didn't really have much of a following online, and I didn't even sell those prints online. If you can, do make merchandise and sell it online, but try and also go to like a convention to sell it too, because that will help you with making money, and then you can afford to like do bigger projects and sell them online. So if your following is small, the convention sales will offset the costs, and then you can, from there you can build up your following, and then at the same time build up like all your merchandise. It's kind of like a trial and error thing too, so see what works at conventions, but that doesn't, or what's popular at conventions, but that doesn't always correlate to what's popular online. So there is like different crowds. It's definitely worth trying to sell at conventions because you can get rid of a lot of stock in just like a few days compared with like online. If you do only have a small following, then I do recommend going to conventions, and that way you can like meet new people, meet new artists, and build your following at the same time. Yeah, I'm gonna just say that about that one. But yeah, I thought that was a really good question, so thank you for your question. The next question is, oh, this one was on my sketchbook tour video. So God, I can't talk and draw. Okay, so the question is, did you start drawing in 2013? Your work was so good back then, it would be mind-blowing if you were just beginning. Well, thank you. No, definitely not. I've been drawing probably since 2006, 2005, something like that. But that's just like, you know, when you're a kid and you just draw. It's not like anything serious. I think I started to be more serious about it around 2007, because that's when I started to join art communities online. There was this community called Manga Bullet, which was the best art community I've ever been a part of, probably. But sadly it's shut now. But yeah, I think once I started to post on there and made friends and stuff, that's when I started to try and improve more consciously, or consciously make an effort to improve. Let's see. The story behind the whole 2013 thing is between 2007-ish to 2010, I drew a lot. I drew every day pretty much. I did take an art foundation course for 1 year, but that's like it's a course about creativity. It's not about like foundational skills. So I didn't really learn a lot of techniques there. I just was able to draw every day almost. So that was really good. But after that, I actually did a degree in accounting and finance. I think this is a question I get a lot too, so if my background is in art or something else. So my background is in, I guess, in accounting and finance. Well, that's what my degree is in. So it's like a business degree. During my time at uni, I basically stopped drawing. So this is where like the hiatus from drawing comes from. From 2013, that's when I decided, oh, I really, because I hated my degree. That's a whole other story there, but in 2013, I was like, right, screw this. I'm just gonna like put my all into drawing and try really hard. I was pretty down during that time. It was tough. It's hard to explain, but like, I knew that drawing was something that I always wanted to do, or always had an interest in. I was like, right, I'm gonna try really hard to improve and draw as much as I can and find myself again, in a way. Oh God. I mean, back in 2013, I had no idea what I was doing in terms of like, I wasn't really thinking about art as a career as such. Like maybe kind of, but it was more so I really missed it. So yeah. There is that. So that was kind of depressing, right? The next question is, how long have you practiced the body to get to the... Okay, so I had a bunch of questions asked by this person on Instagram, so I'm going to answer all of those now. So the first question is, how long have you practiced the body to get to this result? Do you think you've reached a satisfying level, or you need to improve and discover more techniques? Okay, so I'd say as an artist or as a person in general, like, you always have things to learn. There's always something new to find out, especially with something like the human body. Like, the way it's designed is just crazy. Once you look into the anatomy and structure, or like even function and like organs, the way the brain works, it's just like insane. So yeah, I always think there is definitely something to learn and more techniques. It's always good to even approach drawing the body in like different ways. So I've tried different methods. So I've tried like Bridgman, Philippou, where there's a guy called, what's his name? Woodward, something Woodward? Ryan Woodward. I studied the way he drew for a bit. I really liked how gestural his movements are. But yeah, there's always some different techniques to learn. As for being satisfied with my level, I guess so. I'm not like dissatisfied. I don't find it frustrating to draw anymore. But obviously you do get days where you just forget how to draw. It's pretty natural. Oh, and how long? I guess I've always drawn full body stuff since I was young, but that's because I've been pretty stubborn and always forced myself to do it, because I knew that if I didn't force myself, even if it looked bad, then I would never improve. I would say I practiced anatomy more seriously since 2016. That's when because you know when you kind of like half-ass anatomy and you kind of like, yeah, I kind of know what it looks like, but you don't really sit down and learn the muscles or the bones or the functions. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while, and then in 2016 I was like, right, fuck this, I need to sit down and learn. So that's when I properly learned like all the muscles and stuff. So yeah, a couple of years, I suppose. But even through observation, you're still learning, so I'd say 10 years. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that stuff. Okay, yeah, it's really tough to talk and draw. Let me just start a new page. Okay, next question. Everybody has a character type reference. I mean that when you often draw the same shapes, do you think it's hard to draw different types? So I'm guessing you mean body types, right? Or faces? It's like a particular face. I would say I do have a preference that I like to draw. So obviously it's the standard, basically what all my OCs look like, right? So like this. So there is like a natural inclination for me to be able to draw this way, because I've obviously drawn this the most often, I'd say. But I don't think there is. If you have a solid enough foundation in terms of like shapes and building things from simple shapes. So if you don't know, like, everything's made up of about 5 different shapes. So there's sorry, that's awful, pyramid, but so there's a cone, a pyramid, sphere, cylinder, and a cube, or like a cuboid or whatever. So if you know these 5 shapes and you are able to draw them in perspective and draw them like connecting to each other, or like if you can cut into these shapes as well, then you can pretty much draw anything. But it's just a matter of if you've practiced drawing that thing or not for long enough, because you're not always going to retain everything in your visual memory. But say if you use a reference, then you can break down the reference into like these 5 shapes, and then from there you can like build. So I could draw, say, a kettle, even though I've never really drawn a kettle before, but if I had a reference, obviously, but like that's just by knowing simple shapes. So I'm not using reference right now, but if you think about a kettle, it's just kind of like this. So So this is kind of like a cylindrical shape, and then the handle is also kind of like a cylinder. I mean, you could build more structure into it. But yeah, it's basically just forming the shapes and fitting them all together. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I would highly recommend learning perspective and just drawing shapes in perspective, because that helps your eye improve as well. I mean, if they're talking mostly about the body, then you can base bodies on just like basic shapes. So this would be like a broad body type, but it's like a square, like this. And then you could do like a skinny body, so something more like triangular, maybe like this. As long as you know the basics, then you can just build on top of that afterwards. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I answered that well enough, but I hope that's okay. If you want to further explain what you mean, then I'd love to hear. Okay, so next question. Did you maybe still have a big project as an artist? What is it? I don't think I do, you know. Like, I have things I want to make, but they're always, you know, they're always sizable, so I can work on them, and like I can work on them within a year, I'd say. Like, there's nothing that's been ongoing, so good to know, I guess, but maybe in the future. Next question is, did you follow art studies to do a job related to it, or you got a completely different path? Yeah, like I was saying before, I studied accounting finance, got my degree, you know, got all that 2-1, whatever, but it's not for me, like business and things. I have a little bit of a business acumen, but I'm very much so I'm very much so not interested in like big corporate life. I'm not competitive either, so I decided not to go that route. And then the next question, does your artistic job make you raise enough money, or do you need another job to have a proper way of life? Okay, if you've watched my other videos, you may know that I quit my job, like, how many months now has it been? Wow, okay, it's been like 6 months. It's crazy. But yeah, so it's been about half a year. So what I did, so currently I am still building up to sustain myself. I think it's going okay, but I want to get to a point where I have a more steady income, because at the moment it's like it's very dependent on what projects I have and what I release in my store or online. So 1 month I could make like a good amount, and then the other month I could make like not really enough. So it's like kind of jumpy at the moment. So I'm just like building up to get to a point where I will hopefully have enough money to have like a proper way of life. But I have enough savings and things to get by for now. Yeah, I'm just taking that jump because I just love drawing, and that's what I want to do. So I'm just gonna give it my all, and yeah, hopefully I will eventually. Okay, next question. The video cut off. I really hope it didn't cut off too much. Okay. The next question is, I really liked how flexible your drawings were, and I thought I'd ask for advice on both body and flexibility. Okay. Okay, so I think this is about fluidity in drawing. So a lot of it comes down to mileage. So I'd say just draw a lot and you can improve your hand-eye coordination. It really helps to have like a steady hand. So even practicing things like straight lines like this can be useful. There are exercises that you can do. So say you can plot 2 lines like this and then draw even ellipses inside, and these aren't great, but there's loads of exercises like this. I'm sure you can look them up. Those can really help with the fluidity of your drawings, but in terms of the human body, gesture drawing is like the key, I think, for having a good flow. So if you do a lot of gesture drawing, and by gesture drawing I mean the really quick poses, so like 30-second ones or like a minute ones, they're just like they're like basically stick figures, like this type of thing. That's not a good one either. But like if you get good at gesture drawing, then you will understand, you find your own ways in how to interpret the body. So everybody's different. So if you compare someone like how I was saying earlier, like Ryan Woodward, and then compare his drawings to his gesture drawings to who else could I say, like Hogarth, I guess. Like they're completely different. That's just the way they interpret the body, and there's no like right way of doing it. It's just finding the shapes that work for you. So for me, I really like to just do the rib cage and pelvis, and then I'll do like the legs like sticks. I usually do the legs like sticks because I prefer to represent the bone rather than the whole arm. Like, but some people do tubes, and then I do the head as like a box usually. And then the spine. But even with gesture drawing, there's no like, don't see it as a step-by-step, because a lot of people will teach you a step-by-step and be like, oh, draw the torso, draw the arms, draw the feet, but try and look at it as a whole instead, and interpret it that way. Sorry, it's so wishy-washy, like it's not practical advice, but I'm more of an intuitive artist. There are like, people say there are like two types of artists, like analytical and intuitive. And intuitive is more like when you can't really explain your process, you just draw. And analytical is like when you have analyzed, when you draw from like a more well, it's in the name, but you draw from a more analytical, like use a more analytical approach to drawing. So you'll like plot, not necessarily, but you'll have in mind like plotting out certain guides to help you and think about the proportions. Whereas my approach is more like draw it and then fix it. A rule that really worked for me in terms of drawing bodies is that if I drew something and it looked really stiff or looked wrong to me, I would force myself to fix it no matter what. Even if it was a pain in the ass, I would just fix it, because like, I'm talking about traditional art here. If I could fix it and if I was doing something finished. But yeah, I would force myself to fix it no matter how long it took, just because it leaves a bigger impression on you. Because after you fixed it, you're like, okay, I know how to draw this now, I know how to fix it. And you figure out, you problem solve that way. Whereas if you leave the drawing and don't fix it, then you're kind of just like whatever, and don't necessarily learn from that. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. I might stop this video now. I think that was the last question anyway. And I didn't really draw much, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hopefully have a vlog by the end of this month too. But I'm a bit busy. I'm gonna be away, I'm gonna be in London. So I don't know, it might be up in March. And then I think that's it. Yeah, so I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and yeah, take care. I just want to quickly add that if anyone else has any questions they'd like me to answer, then I'd be more than happy to. Just message me on like Instagram, Twitter, or even down below, and I'll collect them all and try and answer as many as I can in future videos.